What's up, college football fans and Mean Green fans? Sonoy Valente here once again with the Mean Green Show. Today, joined once again by JD as well as Miles, and we're going to recap today's scrimmage of North Texas, their second scrimmage of the spring, I believe, as well as some of the latest recruiting news. But before we get into all that, guys, you already know the drill. If you're a fan of college football or G5 football, consider hitting that like and subscribe button because that is truly all that we talk about. Okay, Miles, we'll kind of jump in it or passing it right to you. I mean, you and I, we were both there today, and aside from jumping into the QB conversation, we'll all three, share our thoughts there here in a sec. But what are your initial thoughts of today's scrimmage? I mean, it really seemed like defense kind of jumped out ahead there from my point of view.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like I said last week, and like we all said last week, defense won the day, and it's not it kind of makes me discouraged just seeing how our offensive line is such a more veteran group, and they're getting shredded. I mean, and then that's no offense to our defense at all because they're a really solid group, but it's kind of just discouraging to see how they're getting bullied by the. I mean, like I said, no offense, but this defense is not the top tier defense we're ever going to play. And if we're getting mauled like that, and of course it's early, it's spring, but Nixon was come off the outside really really fast. I mean there was a lot of guys that were making a lot of plays, and we don't even have Mason Richard on the outside. It was just a little discouraging to see what the offensive line had pass blocking wise. And of course, besides quarterbacks, I still think it was a really solid scrimmage in general. A lot of good things to take away. Ridge Tejada looked really good today, especially on that one interception and deflection deep ball against Macklin. I think later in the scrimmage. But there's still a lot to take away. It's still early. There's still a lot of things that could happen over time, and losing Cam Robertson to the portal. That kind of sucked, especially with the amount of, I don't know if did that happen this past week, or did we talk about this already? I
No,
don't
we haven't
remember.
talked about it. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought because I thought it was this week, but this week's been really long. So yeah, I mean that kind of like sucks a little bit, but they didn't miss a beat. I mean these guys are constantly fighting. There's Logan Wilson didn't even play. Keegan Roach, he was on a scooter with some sort of leg cast. So I mean they don't have all these guys, but they're still playing lights out compared to what I was expecting. Because honestly, I was expecting more of an offensive showing today. And really, I mean, Ragsdale played pretty good. A lot of the running backs are running hard. That's not a shocker, though. I mean, I'm not surprised by that. But it was still something that the defense won. They played really well, and especially, a lot of these younger guys are getting a lot more reps in spring, and that might help down the road. Maybe this year if we have a little injury situation or something. But I'm really encouraged by the defense, discouraged by the offense, and in general, I still think there's a lot of time to go. And that quarterback situation, it's very interesting, is what I'll say.
Yeah, we'll get into that here just in a little bit. So offensively, I mean, the receivers look pretty decent. Trey Cleveland looks really good. That was my first time seeing him in person. Seems like a pretty big guy who can also really go. And obviously, Roderick Burns looking like Roderick Burns. So no surprises with him as far as the production he'll probably bring. And Jamori Macklin. I mean, just really our receivers look solid. Damian Ward, he was having some, fair amount of action his way too. So really, I guess pleasantly assured with our receivers, it seems like. And talking about the running backs, BK Jackson, I know he had a fumble, but before that, I was liking what I was seeing from him. He's a red shirt sophomore now. Maybe he's going into his red shirt sophomore season, I think. And
He
kind
was
of
2021, dude.
Yeah, so his run style kind of looks, kind of like Oscar Attaway's. Not saying that he's going to be the next Oscar Attaway, but just kind of similar run style. And again, before that fumble, I was liking what I was seeing. And then Quaylon Farrar turned on the
Really
Jets a
hard.
couple times. Yeah, had that 98-yard run that they called back for a penalty. but man, he was showing a lot of burst today, which was good. Him going into his redshirt freshman year. It'll be interesting to see if he gets plugged into this offense a bit more, being that speed guy, dynamic guy. Maybe they spread the defense and they want someone in there more with his skill set. But okay, kind of jumping into the quarterback talk. And I've said on here that I thought it was a runaway with Chandler Rogers was going to be the guy. Just the production he brought from ULM. 68% completion percentage or whatever it was, and just unreal. But coming in today, I mean, Vito tweeted out all the stats wise, and they were keeping him and Reed are keeping really close tabs on the stats. But Reuter was 12 for 17 with 0 picks, even though 2 of them he got called for a sack, but officially 0 picks. 143 yards with 2 touchdowns. Chandler Rogers had 5 attempts, 2 completions, 1 interception for 8 yards. Stone Earl 5 for 7, 1 interception, 73 yards and a touchdown. Then JD Head 8 of 11 for 87 yards and 2 touchdowns. But man, I think if the season was tomorrow, and if I was a gambling person, I think Reuter would be the guy tomorrow. I think. I mean, just from what we saw today. But anyways, Miles, I want to pass it to you. What are your thoughts on the QB situation there? And then JD, feel free to chime in. What do you think is going to happen?
It's really hard to gauge, especially right now, because Morris didn't come out and say it, but he was kind of like hinting at it in his words. The way he worded it was like, this is Rodgers to lose. And right now, they're not giving Rodgers a whole. I mean, he's given opportunities. He's also running the ball a little bit more. He ran the ball more than anybody else in the quarterback group. And honestly, this is no knack to Rodgers, but he was getting pressured a lot. That dude was under a lot of pressure from defense standpoint. But it's kind of hard to tell. And in the first scrimmage, he had a few throws that were a little bit shaky, and of course that just can be just learning a new play style. He's under a new whole system. I'm pretty sure that's a complete new system than he was at ULM. And he's I think he's just trying to find something there, but at the same time, it's really, like I said, it's discouraging to see how he's not getting a whole lot of reps passing the ball. And this is a more of an offense. I mean, they barely used the tight end today, so that means, and they're passing the ball a little bit more than I was expecting. So it's really interesting to see how he's not really getting a lot of opportunities to pass the ball. And then Reuter had some really good throws today. I mean, he had a great throw to, I think it was Macklin I walked through the gate and he threw a touchdown right there to Macklin to start off. So it was so weird when he played in 2021. They benched him. He lost all of his confidence, and now he's looking like he's already the favorite. And then you got Stone Earl right next to him, who I think played very well and has played well so far this whole spring from what I've seen. So I didn't think I didn't think we would be naming one of these guys that's not Chandler Rogers a starter. I mean, of course, there's still a lot of time. Things can change over the summer, but it's kind of weird saying how Rogers is not even the favorite from our eyes, or from my eyes at least, from what I've seen so far.
JD, any thoughts, man? I mean, if you had to guess right now, who's going to be QB1 against Cal? Where are you putting your poker chips? Huh?
I do have some breaking news. September, when we go to play California, we will have a starting quarterback. I don't know who that will be, but there will be a starting quarterback. They're not going to go start out with the Wildcat. But yeah, no, I mean, it is. If you'd ask us, before spring ball started, Jace Reuter's probably the one guy that we would not even I would not have mentioned. I thought it was between Stone Earl, Chandler Rogers, and then JD Head's a guy that, from talking to some of the players, that was the guy that they kept saying, watch out for this guy. He's probably got the best arm on the team. So if you had me to guess, I would have picked one of those 3 guys. So yeah, Jace Reuter's kind of the forgotten guy. I mean, I didn't even really think he would be. Honestly, I didn't think he would be still on campus by now. I mean, I figured, especially after losing the starting job, he would have rode off in the sunset. He's got some degrees and stuff, but yeah, got to be impressed with him, sticking it out and, battling through it. I mean, like I said, I think he got put in a really bad position the first time around. I mean, I think that it was too quick to throw him in the starting job. I don't think he had enough time on campus, and kind of killed his confidence, like Miles said. So, seeing him battling out, I did see that I guess Grant Gunnell is out of the competition, so it's down to 4 now. So yeah, I mean, I think from what I'm hearing, wouldn't be surprised if Jace Reuter's the starter come first game against California. I do want to give some benefit of the doubt to the defense. I know that the Iowa State defense, I mean, we've talked about it. It's a stifling defense. It's a hard defense against passing the game. So I'm hoping that's a big part of it is the defense play is really, making it hard on our offense. So we go to face other teams, maybe the offense comes up and surprises us. But I will say that I'm more confident with this staff, and I don't know if that's right or not, but Coach Morris and Coach Brophy and those guys have showed that, I mean, from their time in Incarnate Word to the time at Washington State, that they've been able to develop quarterbacks. They've been able to find quarterbacks. So um, I think that I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, and they'll get it figured out before the season starts.
Yeah, and just kind of echo off of what Miles was saying a little bit earlier too. I mean, Rogers, really putting any rushing stats down, but when he runs, man, he really can fly. I mean, it's
They
it's
called
fast.
they blew that one play dead. He's gone.
For
I'm
sure,
telling you, there's
for
only
sure.
maybe 5 to 6 defensive backs in college football that will stop him. And I don't know. I can't think of the top of my head. I mean, that was a great run. And I
Yeah.
want to bounce off a little bit of what JD said about Gunnell. I mean, it's kind of odd how and this has happened many times. North Texas has brought in these like higher caliber transfers, and this can be relayed with Jace Ruder because he hadn't really played a big snap yet this year. But we're getting all these higher profile guys, and they don't pan out. And I will never understand that, and maybe I just don't understand football that well. But it's just really confusing of why he's not even in the running of the conversation right now. It just maybe he didn't fit with the play style. There's something, but I would have thought he would have already been gone if he didn't fit. So that it just kind of confuses me while he's already out. He didn't even have a snap today. No snaps. And I just find that really weird.
Yeah, yeah, true. Anyways, kind of moving over to recruiting, and there's a lot. I mean, that's probably the most exciting thing about this whole new staff is just the way they have been recruiting and continue to recruit and getting all these local guys in and getting the verbal commits. I think since the last time we did this, we've had 2 additions to the 24 class, and Davion Hurth as well as Ronell McLean, both interior offensive linemen. One McLean out of DeSoto and Hurth out of Horn from Mesquite, as well as an addition to the 23 class in Jake Long, who was coming out of San Angelo State, was offensive lineman of the year in 2022 for the Lone Star Conference. And I think conservatively, I think he's going to be a 2 guy who will get a lot of playing time, if not a starter. So I think that's a really big addition to this team in Jake Long. But anyway, JD, what are you hearing? What are your thoughts on the recent pickups from the 2 offensive linemen from the area, as well as the visitation list?
Yeah, and I don't know if we've talked since, but I mean, we also landed JUCO Joshua Smith, the tight end from Florida, is where he originally from. But I mean, I thought that was impressive. You lose Varquise Gums to the transfer portal. That's a huge loss. And then out of nowhere, you go and grab a tight end that's, 3 years to play, that looks super impressive. I mean, he's a guy that's, I believe, is under the radar, and I think he's going to come in and be on the 2 deep at the tight end position right off the bat. So that was a pretty impressive get. You talk about Jake Long. That's a guy that was an All-American at Angelo State that I think is going to come in and battle for some playing time. And as the offensive line looks like there could be some holes come fall. So that's impressive. But then keeping, 2 guys in Snacks McLean and Davion Hurth at home, offensive linemen that it's not like they're offensive linemen with no offers that we're just, offering to offer kids. I mean, these guys have impressive offer lists. Both of them's got UTSA. Both of them's got Arkansas State. So I think those are both big wins. I mean, I think that super impressive. Coach Morris starting out. I mean, I think he's either 5-0 or 6-0 going head-to-head against Traylor so far. Now, of course, these guys aren't signed yet, so there's still things can change. But I mean, right now, to me, it's super impressive. The head-to-head battles we're winning for some of these guys, because I mean, a guy like Snacks McLean was at UTSA, I think last weekend or 2 weekends ago. So winning these guys, getting these guys committed, is huge. But to kind of bounce, to talk about the junior day today, I mean, getting 60 guys on campus. And it's not just 60 bodies. I mean, you're going through the list of the guys that are here. I mean, when I got the list, I'm start going through it. It's impressive. I mean, a guy that stood off right at bat. I mean, Travell Frederick, tight end from Louisiana. I mean, he's a Tulane commit. Getting a guy like that on campus visiting. Luke Carter's a committed. He's already committed to North Texas. He was here. Another guy that stood out to me, Joshua Smith from Crandall. The guy's going to end up being a 4-star wide receiver. He's got offers from Ole Miss, Oklahoma State. I mean, that's a guy, 6'4" wide receiver, that to be able to get him on campus to visit's impressive. But, I mean, like I said, the list just going through, Chris Gantz, a safety, he's got double-digit offers. Boone Morris is a linebacker from Mount Vernon. He's got double-digit offers. I mean, it was a super impressive. I mean, like I said, any school can get 60 high school kids on campus any given day, but to be able to get 60 guys on campus and have 40, 50% of them be high-level dudes with multiple offers has been super impressive. And like I said, I haven't really had a chance to go through the list and really break down all the guys, but just kind of highlighting some key guys. I think it's pretty impressive and it pretty speaks volumes about the staff of how they've been able to get the word out about North Texas, and getting some guys on campus is huge.
Yeah. Last question. Start off with you, JD. Then Miles, you can just yes or no. Do you think we will have a clear-cut starting QB after spring football, JD?
Yeah, I think so. I think that I don't see Morris and the staff doing the whole 2-quarterback deal. They might, but I really feel like we get through fall camp. There's going to be a clear-cut winner. I think somebody will step up. And the portal just opened, so, I mean, I can't see them bringing in another quarterback. I think that the starting quarterback is in the room. So, yeah, I think there will definitely be a clear-cut winner going through summer and through fall, and somebody will emerge as the victor, and then I don't think there will be a duo quarterback thing like we had in the past.
But do you think they'll name that QB after spring ball, or do you think that competition is going to carry into fall camp?
Oh, I think it will carry on in fall camp. I don't think that they're in the spot right now to name a starting quarterback. I don't see that happening, no.
All right, Miles, thoughts on that?
Yeah, I have to agree. I can't see them naming anybody. I mean, especially that nobody has really like stood out to a point where I'm like they should be starter. I mean, Reuter has played really well, but I still picture that pick six or whatever he had in the first game against UAB. I don't know. I feel like they're still gonna have time, and maybe over the summer, Rogers and some of those other guys get more connected, and spring and in fall camp, the first fall camp, whatever, they just start connecting more. And I think by the first week of fall camp, we have a starter named, because Morris is not like Latrell. He's gonna name it quick, and I think it's gonna be somebody. I hope. But I think it's going to be right in that first week of fall camp, because you just can't name one right now unless Rogers or Reuter or whoever has the best game of their life, which is not going to be possible. I just can't see it at all. So I'm going to say after spring ball, give me first week of fall camp.
All right, guys. Well, hey, I appreciate your time, and as always, go Mean Green.
Go Mean Green.